instructional coaches here in District 100. This is my 26th year. Michelle? Right? Michelle and I started in this building a long time ago. So we're going to talk about Samr today and what it looks like in District 100. And this presentation, unfortunately, or not unfortunately, I hate to say it that way. I'm going to be talking a lot at you, and I wish it was a little bit different, but I need to make sure that everyone's on the same page and everyone is getting the same information, especially the people who weren't here last year when we started this. So this might be a repeat for some of you that have been paying attention, and so we'll just go through it all, and I should finish in enough time to get us out of here. So SMART doesn't stand for Smart Board, it stands for Samr Model Action Research Team. We were asked by Apple to be one of 19 school districts in the United States to do action research with their support. So last February, Dr. Fields, Mary Havis, and Shannon Soger went to a training. It was one of our cold and snowy days that we had off. And they learned about what does it look like to do action research in a one-to-one district, or an Apple Distinguished program, I guess is actually what they did. So then they came back and asked the coaches to help with the implementation, and the goal of the action research is to, let me think now. Those research questions are always, remember from graduate school, always big and overarching. To look at how Samr as a common language impacts teaching and learning and the overall school experience, I believe is what it says. So the goal, we have PBIS in our district, and everybody knows what a major, what a minor is, what Swiss is, how we, the B statements, all those things, and so it's everyone knows that. So that's what we're looking for here with Samr, is to use for that to become embedded in the culture of the district, and everyone knows what it is that we're talking about. And someone asked me last year when we first started this, well, does that mean we're getting rid of Common Core, we're doing something else now? No, absolutely not. Common Core is the backbone, and we will use that to guide the teaching and learning to meet the standards, and how do we assess students, how do we set up our objectives. Samr is a reflective tool to be used on top of that to help integrate the technology, right? Because we feel that the one-to-one is what makes, gives us the ability to truly differentiate our instruction. And so using the technology to help us get to the top level of Samr can only benefit the students. So in order to do the action research, we've involved teachers, admin, students, and parents. We surveyed all the 4 stakeholders last spring, and we will be sending out a survey again next Wednesday morning. And we're asking again, it'll be another 2-week window, so it'll take us all the way up to Thanksgiving break. And we are asking that teachers, students, so we'll be asking you to take that with your students again. Teachers, students, pushing it out to parents, and then the administrators take it as well. So I am going to share with you all the link to this presentation that I'm giving right now after I'm done. And in fact, if some of you were curious, Dr. Fields had sent out my follow-up email to the Irving staff. So if you had clicked on that a couple of days ago, you would have seen this presentation that I'm doing now when you looked at that. So the data that we collected in the spring, very quickly, from admins, they found out that they wanted more targeted training in their building. They wanted support from the coaches, which is why I'm here. The teachers said that they are using it, they would like to be using it more, and they of course wanted more training and support and more resources. So we are working on building a repository for the resources, although we have a good one started, and that would be the toolbox, mostly the fridge with with finished products in it. The parents said that their kids, that having the devices positively impacted their kids' motivation and attendance at school, and they felt like their kids were building a lot at home on the devices. But when we asked the children, they said that they were doing more content creation in school and more drill and skill at home, and so we're looking this year to really pick that up, where the kids are doing more content creation at home as well as in school. And as everyone, we're in the beginning stages, so as everyone gets a better grasp at this, we're hoping that, trajectory will just go up. So that's sort of a summary. Again, if you click on that link, you can, if you're a data person who loves data and loves surveys and what all that has to say, you can take a look at that. So we decided that, just like any good initiative in District 100, we needed building contact people. That usually everything that we do here, since we are so spread out in 8 buildings, and that sometimes you feel like you're an island, sometimes unto your classroom or unto your building, you don't know what's going on everywhere else. So it is the champion's job to be the go-to person and the contact sort of to the outside world, if you will. So the people in this building are Katie, Jen, Jess, why do I do that all the time?
Okay.
I don't know. Jessica and Laura. So they will be helping to, another thing that we really want the champions to do is help to spread your success. So however that looks in this building, I know this building is really big on the positive, what B just did, the appreciations, or Twitter, Facebook, however that looks in this building. So I'm gonna play this video for you. This is how Samr looks in District 100. Shannon made this. The beginning is a little soft, Beginning is a little soft, so you have to listen closely. Maybe I can get it to be louder. It's really soft because it's not going through the smart board.
It says that there is a relationship between technology and
Hang on, let's see if we can start that over. Some doesn't seem like any.
who has worked in the state of Maine and says that there is a relationship between the use of technology and learning outcomes. Thus, he created the Samr model. The Samr model has 4 levels: substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. Substitution is when technology acts as a direct substitute with little or no functional improvement. For example, using the Smart Notebook file as a substitute for a paper notebook. Augmentation is when technology acts as a direct tool substitute with functional improvement. For example, using an iPad and QR-coded dice to generate a math problem. Modification is when technology allows for significant task redesign. For example, this student created a makey-makey using his laptop and a few other tools. Redefinition is when technology allows for the creation of new tasks previously inconceivable. For example, the #BikeWithBike movement is where a PE teacher took students and staff on a bike ride with a GoPro camera to create a virtual reality bike ride video. Furthermore, the teacher connected with a broader community using YouTube and Twitter in hopes of having other people join his movement.
Let's see here, hang on. Now it's all out of whack. So, we're all new at this, and there's not gonna be anyone that's gonna come into your classroom and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe you put in your lesson plans that you're doing a augmentation and it's really modification or redefinition, how could you be like, how can you do that? No, that's not what's gonna happen. There are no Samr police. We really want you to just start talking about it in your team meetings or with your partner, or at a building meeting. That's the only way we're gonna get better at this, is if you just start, bring up a lesson. Talk about where you think it is, and then the next thing would be, and so we had this guy, Dan Schmidt, in here when we first went one-to-one. He was an Apple surgeon, he came in from Apple to train us. And people kept saying, oh, we can't do this, oh, this is so hard, oh, I don't know how I'm ever gonna get there. And he said, look, you need to honor where you are, so it's okay to be where you are, honor where you are, and make a goal to get to the next level. And what you need to ask yourself, or what you need to ask your teammates, is what technology tool is appropriate for me to add to this lesson or this unit to do that, to get up to the next level. That's all we're asking you to do, is just start having these conversations about this. And I should have probably said before that, is that don't use technology for technology's sake. We've never done that here. There is no, another thing that we talked about as a team is, Shannon had that,
Dora is a researcher who has worked with.
So substitution is the biggest at the bottom and has the, pretty much the biggest space in the triangle, because you are gonna be at substitution most of the time. It's just sort of the way it is. And then, augmentation. In order to do a research project, the kids have to just look things up on the internet. That's substitution. That's okay. Your end goal is to have them share it out with a TouchCast or something like that. That's going to get you above the line. That's your ultimate objective, your ultimate goal, part of what you're going to assess at the end. But you have to start somewhere. So that substitution is going to be the most, and then augmentation a little less of the time, modification and redefinition. And they're going to build on each other. And I was in a classroom last year, and it took us about 6 or 7 weeks with first graders to get up to a redefinition project. There were a lot of moving parts there, and so we never said like you should be on substitution 80% of the time, augmentation 5% of the time, modification 2% of the time, and redefinition 1% of the time. There is none of that, so don't feel that kind of pressure either. And so the big thing is, and it took us a long time to formulate this statement, so I put it in blue and I'm gonna read it exactly as it is. We use it because we want kids to show their thinking and demonstrate their understanding through the differentiation we are afforded with the technology that we have, right? My big push this year and the coach's big push this year is to find apps for kids to demonstrate their thinking and understanding, not just drill and skill like IXL. And we have to do that, but we want to get to that higher level, and using those apps for thinking that demonstrate their thinking and understanding are what are going to get you above the line. And also, that's another thing, we just want you to get above the line. A lot of times there's a lot of, even with us, well, what makes that redefinition, and what's the difference between modification and redefinition? Where's that fine line? It's okay, don't get caught up in that little minutia there. Just, integrating more technology is going to help the kids demonstrate their thinking and understanding. So we're asking you again to share what you're doing. again, Google Plus, we all have access to Google Plus. So the toolbox and the fridge are great places for you to go for resources, the toolbox to find apps that might be appropriate, the fridge to share out what you're doing, okay? And then if you're on Twitter, we're asking you to use the in both places actually, use the hashtag SamrD100. If you're posting it on Twitter, it would be great for you to put the level, like augmentation, and then SamrD100. If you don't have room for both, then SamrD100. Sometimes, 140 characters just doesn't seem to be enough. If you tag me, if you take a picture of the kids doing it or working in the app and you tag me or the district in the photo, then I will be sure to respond to you and possibly retweet it if I haven't met my retweet limit for the day. I've been told I retweet too much, but I get so excited because I think everyone's doing such cool things. Not for my personal account, but I do the district social media, if you didn't know. So, again, just to keep the conversation going, to get people to see examples. In one of the other buildings, someone said, well, that's just one more thing for me to do. And and can I go to other schools and see what teachers are doing? I encourage you in your building to go see, talk with your peers, to go see them during your plan time if they are agreeable. We are asking 300 staff members to do this. Probably traveling between buildings is not as feasible, but that's up to your building level administrator. If you are a new teacher, you have the benefit of being in the mentor program, so that's something that you can look for or ask for when you're going to observe someone else. And
can I just add that if you want to make it happen, we will make it happen.
Okay,
So,
great.
If you want to make it happen, we'll make it happen.
And if you're looking for some example classrooms at your grade level or around your grade level, I can help you with that as well. That's where we're at with that. This is just an example of Jenny Lahotsky, one of the other instructional coaches, sharing out something that was done, and this was actually next door. It is a substitution level project, and that was one of the reasons we also chose just to share this as an example, is because it's okay to be at substitution, but you know that, and so that's where we're starting. If you just Google Samr, this is what you're going to find, right? And again, we're just trying to get above the line where tech is allowing for significant task redesign. And I just want you to remember that about 20 years ago, QR codes, I would consider QR codes now, and Shannon had it in the video, depending on your objective, augmentation, possibly modification, but 20 years ago, it redesigned the way that an auto parts place inventoried their whole inventory, or the way they did their inventory, because it was brand new technology, right? So you have to think about that as well. It was a huge aha moment for me, is that redefinition is sort of this moving target. We're in the information age. Things, as you know, technology is changing so fast. What was redefinition 20 years ago is now augmentation, again, depending on your objective now. So just know that, again, we're always just trying to move along that continuum. It's a continuum. You're just trying to move along that continuum. So what we're going to do now is, let me just, let me go over this, and then I'm doing really good on time too. So the challenge is going to be that sometime in the month of November, we would love for you to share out to the fridge or on Twitter. Again, label it. Pictures are encouraged but are totally optional. And you should always be thinking, what tech tool could I add to this lesson to move it up one more level on the Samr ladder? So that's the challenge that I'm leaving you with. We would love for as many of you that feel comfortable to participate in that. And then what we're going to do now is I'm going to pass out the Samr cards at your desks, at your tables. Susan, you wanna go with them or swing around? And there are 5 cards, and basically they're, the top one is a direction card. Shannon made these before she left, and they are just 4 levels on Samr. Please put them in order. And you know, when you guys already did this. When you look at them, you should be able to notice one thing right off the bat. Is that just based on the amount of words on the card. So just look at that. If you just look right at the cards, just without even reading them, you can see that the redefinition, the modification redefinition cards just have more words on them, right? So that you know that getting above the line is a little more involved. So there are a couple different, I believe are 2 different sets of cards. So if I end up I'm going to read this group, and if I read your set of cards, you can just put them back together so I know that I did that group, and then I'll find another group that still has their cards out, and I'll read that set of answers as well. So we'll go from S to R. So this one is English Language Arts, History, Social Studies, 7th grade, analyze the primary source, they access and Safari. Next they write specific text evidence to support their analysis in a paper notebook. So basically they're just looking things up online. That's substitution. Mathematics, operations, and algebraic thinking. At the end of the year, 3rd graders use QuickTime on their MacBook Air to create an audio recording of all products of 2 one-digit numbers. Right? So they're using the QuickTime to help show their thinking and demonstrate their understanding, and then they're able to, you know, Dropbox that to you, and again, perhaps, you know, with their verbal skills are a little bit better than their written skills, so you can really see what their thinking and understanding is there. Mathematics, measurement, and data. Oh, I know you guys need to go. Students walk around the school taking photos, right? They have the audio, adding in all those multimedia features, make it modification, and then the blogging would be the redefinition.
Do you have to have, like, redefinition, do you have to have it connected with another group somewhere else?
Yeah.
But just blogging is redefinition.
Well, so that goes into this whole, on here it says, the reader study the post, conducts his or her own research, challenges the conclusions by starting a discussion on the blog post, students collaborate back and forth, right? So we feel like, and I think what we feel suits our needs here in District 100 is that the back and forth piece and the feedback really kind of speak to what we're doing here and what we're trying to do with kids with the standards-based recording and everything. So it doesn't, it's like, the redefinition part of it is that they're changing their mind because of the input that they've gotten. They get to change their thinking and understanding based on the input or feedback that they've gotten from someone else, whether it be you or someone in Malaysia, right? But not necessarily true. It looks like we hit everybody. So, Katie's going to collect the cards. I thank you very much for your time. This presentation, just real quick, has a lot of resources in it. And, I put this in here. Whoa, sorry. Jeez. I put this in here because people were like, I don't even know where to start. I'm not crazy about these things. I'm really not. Because, again, it goes back to your objective and what you're assessing. But if you need a jumping off point, perhaps this is something you'll want to take a look at. And the coaches are here to help you, and so are your, that's it. The coaches are here to help you, and so are your champions. Please use us, email us, feel free to contact us, and we'll do our best to get you what you need. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.